Childhood obesity has become virtually an epidemic in the United States and in the developing world.
Obesity currently in the United States is at an all-time high in both children and adults. And what we're seeing now is about 1/3 of children weigh too much and about 2/3 of adults.
The fraction of obese people, young people in the United States is increasing continually now and is at quite significant levels. So it's a really serious problem.
Obesity among children is such a problem because, particularly among adolescents, it tends to track into adulthood. And adulthood obesity is associated with lots of chronic health conditions.
Some forms of cancer, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes. So carrying additional weight as a child and then as an adult puts you at risk for many other chronic diseases.
We're also seeing kids with a host of other problems that aren't even physical related to being overweight and at risk for overweight, such as emotional problems, just interacting socially.
So it's really a problem that we need to address as a society because of the major health implications for children in the future.
The obesity epidemic is fairly recent if you look historically. About 30 to 40 years ago, we began to see the rates of obesity rise.
It's really unfortunate that in this affluent society of ours, frequently it's those with the least resources, some of the poorest families, that are facing this problem of childhood obesity in the greatest proportions.
They oftentimes don't have good access to affordable foods, to fresh fruits and vegetables. There's easy availability of calorie-dense, low-nutrient foods and beverages which have entered their communities, their schools.
One source of excess calories today that has changed dramatically over the last 20 years is children's intake of sugar-sweetened beverages. We find that high school students now are intaking on average about 300 calories a day of basically sugar water in all of its forms, whether it's soda, fruit drinks, sports drinks, all kinds of waters.
Children oftentimes don't have areas where they can play after school. There aren't community centers, youth centers. They go home and then they spend several hours in front of a screen, whether it's a TV, video, or computer.
Although technology is very positive and it's allowed us to communicate around the globe, most technology and the use of it requires that we're sedentary.
So all of those things really require less and less energy, and people are less and less active and less engaged in physical activity.
Really, the equation we need to think about is energy balance, and that's energy in and energy out, which is the form of calories that we often speak of. And it's important to make sure that a child is in balance. Shape Up Somerville, Eat Smart, Play Hard was a 3-year research study that we conducted in 3 communities in the greater Boston area. And the goal of the project was to change the environments that children pass through over the course of the day.
We took a very broad approach across the community to change the environmental factors of how people choose to live their lifestyles.
And what we tried to do was look at all the different points of a day that a child goes through and think at each one of those points, how can we make some small change?
We started to look at the way we were preparing food. We started to do more scratch recipes. We used more fresh ingredients, fresh vegetables.
We've also been working hard on trying to get kids to take to whole grains and get parents to switch to whole grains as much as possible.
We started to offer fresh fruits every single day. We started with lunch and then at breakfast. So we really looked at how we could improve the nutritional quality of everything that we were doing.
And in addition to that, they also had a little program called Cool Moves, where they take break times during the course of the day and do some stretching, some strengthening, exercising right within the classroom. And there's a lot more emphasis on walking in the community, and not just the kids walking to and from school, but all adults walking through the community.
But there's some strengths that Somerville has as well, and that is that the mayor is really someone who feels positively about trying to really bring in more of the partners in the community to work together for positive change.
I take the approach that we have several bottom lines to worry about. They're economic, they're financial, but they're social and they're cultural as well. My job and responsibility is to make sure we improve the quality of life of everybody in this city and have a positive impact there.
So what we tried to do in the community by creating a healthier community is to build the self-esteem of the children and also to deepen the relationships of the members of the community. And that goes a long way toward other social issues that occur in a community.
We want to make sure people have the availability, access to good foods, healthy foods, and more than once, all day long, and access to good recreational activities. It's just going to have a great positive social impact if we can provide those incentives and those opportunities for everybody to improve their quality of life.
What we saw in Somerville was over the course of the first school year that we have analyzed so far, the children gained about a pound less than the children in the control communities. We also saw the community come together and stay together. People haven't given up. They haven't stopped with the changes. In fact, they've built more changes on, and it's really a healthy community now for children to live in.
And for Somerville, our goal is to maintain that long term and to build upon the success of Shape Up Somerville.
Because the problem of childhood obesity really doesn't have a single cause, and the solution really is not going to be a single magic bullet. What we need is to come up with coordinated, collaborative solutions that involve all aspects of our communities.
And I think everyone really recognizes that there's a problem, something needs to be done. People are busy, but the more that parents and teachers and school administrators and after-school program folks and food service departments can really work together, and if everyone can reinforce some concepts, and then you can make some change.
There are some key strategies that parents can focus on: providing fruits and vegetables every day for their children, incorporating whole grains into their diet, making sure they get 3 servings of low-fat dairy, less than 2 hours of screen time with no television in a child's room at all, and at least 1 hour of physical activity every day.
So parents do have a role, but they can't do it alone.
We need to start to create our community so that they're more walkable and people can move around and feel safe on our streets, and you know, create opportunities for kids to get access to healthier snacks and not be bombarded with the ones that aren't so healthy.
Public health issues have a very important role. Actually, there are a lot of stakeholders and sectors that need to work together in order to prevent obesity, to create a health-promoting environment. So public health professionals can certainly educate their colleagues and people in other sectors about the importance of obesity. Once we identify what we know works to promote healthful behaviors and positive health outcomes for children, we would like to be able to replicate that and scale it up in similar areas that are resource constrained.
For a community to replicate what we did in Somerville, it will take a lot of people coming together who are dedicated to the cause. This project had incredible community spirit.
I think you have to have a positive attitude. You have to be willing to embrace change, and I think it's really important that you let and communicate with people, particularly administrators, parents, teachers, and let them know, because you'll be amazed at the help and support that you can really get.
Anyone who's really interested in making a change in the foods that children are being served, the physical activity opportunities they have, should really step up and serve as a spark plug in their community. It's amazing what the energy of one person can do and how many people will really rally behind them.